to go very far, very fast." End quote. And in Copenhagen, we are ready to do so, and mayors from the world's biggest cities are ready to do so. I do hope you will join us. In Copenhagen, we have been working hard to prepare for your arrival. You are indeed some of our most important guests this year. As a former commissioner, I negotiated for the EC in Kyoto. I know what is expected from you. I know you will face days of hard work and nights without sleep, but on the optimistic side, I also know how solutions can be reached at the very last moment. So I'm absolutely sure you will do a great job in Copenhagen. I also hope you will be able to see some of the work we have been doing in Copenhagen. We have a vision, a goal, in fact, to be the first carbon-neutral capital in the world by 2025. This is surely a great challenge. We have 50 specific initiatives to achieve the city's targets of a 20% reduction in CO2 emissions in the period 2005 to 2015. But Copenhagen is on its way. 97% of all households in Copenhagen have district heating. Nearly 50% of the citizens of Copenhagen ride their bike every day. In Copenhagen, the harbor is so clean that you can even swim in it, although it might be too cold just now. I also hope you will have an opportunity to glimpse how Copenhagen will become a city filled with climate exhibitions and activities to engage the citizens and our many guests. During the UN Climate Change Conference, the City Hall Square in Copenhagen will be transformed into a city of hope. That's why we call it Copenhagen Live. Every day, Copenhagen will be filled with experiences and exhibitions. The city's trademark, a huge interactive globe, will light up the December darkness, reflecting in ever-changing shades and hues the world's engagement with the climate. On the stage, musicians and speakers will collect the citizens together around the messages which hopefully will resonate among the negotiators here in the Bella Center. I very much look forward to host you tonight for the reception at the City Hall and on the City Hall Square. So I bid you a very warm welcome and sincerely hope you will leave our city with a good impression and many good experiences. But most of all, I hope that when you leave this conference hall, you will leave the planet safer and greener for the future. So please help us to turn Copenhagen into Copenhagen. Please seal the deal.
Thank you, Mayor Bjerregaard, for your warm welcome and for your statement. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the podium to address our meeting Dr. Rajendra Pachauri, Chair of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Dr. Pachauri, you have the floor.
Your Excellency, Prime Minister of Denmark, Mr. Lars Løkke Rasmussen, Executive Secretary of the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change Secretariat, Mr. Evo de Boer, Your Excellency, Mayor of Copenhagen, Madame Rit Bjerregaard, Excellencies, colleagues, members of the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It's a great privilege for me to address this August gathering at the beginning of a historically important meeting, which we all hope would lead to action. Action which is required urgently on the basis of the scientific assessment of climate change presented in the fourth assessment report, the AR4 of the IPCC. This report was completed a few weeks before COP13 held in Bali in December 2007 and undoubtedly had a profound impact on the deliberations since. After that, the global community has had adequate opportunity to further study, debate, and discuss the findings of the AR4 and determine actions that are required to be taken globally. This conference must, therefore, now lead to actions for implementation, and I quote, by all parties taking into account their common but differentiated responsibilities, end of quote. One of the most significant findings of the AR4 was conveyed by two simple but profound statements. I quote, warming of the climate system is unequivocal, as is now evident from observations of increases in global average air and ocean temperatures, widespread melting of snow and ice, and rising global sea level. And the other quotation, which I now mention, most of the observed increase in temperatures since the mid-20th century is very likely due to the observed increase in anthropogenic GHG concentrations, end of quote. In the 20th century, average global temperature increased by 0.74 degrees Celsius, while sea level rise resulting from thermal expansion of the ocean and melting of ice across the globe amounted to 17 centimeters. With this increase, the Maldives Islands, several other small island states, and low-lying coastal nations like Bangladesh, with land surface barely a meter or two above sea level, would find that every storm surge and major upwelling of the seas represents a serious danger to life and property. The global community thus has a moral and material responsibility to do all it can to limit the growing impacts of climate change on these and other vulnerable societies across the globe. Indeed, we need to give practical expression to the provisions of Article 2 of the UNFCCC, which defines the ultimate objective of the Convention as the achievement of, and I quote, stabilization of greenhouse gas concentrations in the atmosphere at a level that would prevent dangerous anthropogenic interference with the climate system, end of quote.